So when Shrek 3 was coming out, Tim and Eric decided to promote Shrek 3. They were not in Shrek 3. I don't think they have any connection to anyone who works on Shrek 3, maybe. But they were super into promoting Shrek 3. They would wear green paint. They would put on Shrek ears. They went on other TV shows like Attack of the Show. They went on, Human Giant was doing a 24-hour takeover of MTV. They went on that. And they made a lot of promos that aired on Adult Swim and their own shows. And they even remade their MySpace page in terms of just like remade it to be promoting just Shrek 3. I'm not joking. They were very on it for Shrek 3. And I always thought this was really funny. And I found a compilation. I tried to find other segments. I remember they were on like MSNBC and stuff at the time. I could not find those clips. And I also could not find, apparently there's interviews where they talk about it, but I couldn't even find those. So this is like a bit of Shrek media that I've always been fascinated with because I thought it was like really funny at the time. But they had all these segments, like these commercials where it was like, one was Tim saying like every time there's a Shrek movie, him and his family, they have a tradition, they go see a Shrek movie and they have a good time. And they even like review Shrek. They say they're at the headquarters of Shrek.com. They have David Libby, I guess, Hart, who reviews it with a puppet and then has audio of him talking about it on the answering machine. They keep congratulating the director of Shrek 3, Chris Miller, and have a photo of him, which I'm not sure is accurate or where they got this photo, but it's also 2007, so I guess Google image search was different at the time. They keep promoting Singular Wireless because they love checking out Shrek clips on their phone, and they're not being like ever not positive. Like, it's obviously ironic and stuff, but they're always being like, we're promoting Shrek 3. They're putting on masks. They call May 18th S Day. They're like, it's very important you see Shrek on May 18th. You go to the theater. Like I think they say the perfect way to enjoy the Monday after is to be able to talk about Shrek 3 with your coworkers. And they're so passionate about it, but it's like a Shrek conversation in one where they talk about how Shrek is too sophisticated to be considered a movie. It's just one of those things where they did predate the Shrek memes. Like, this is when Shrek was like everywhere, and they were like, let's just be hilarious about Shrek. And maybe that is the beginning of like Shrek and All-Star becoming memes, because they were like, they weren't doing anything that could, like, unless you sort of got what they were doing. It was just like this weird, ironic thing they were doing. I think it was pretty hilarious at the time, and I wasn't a big Tim and Eric fan. I just thought it was really funny. I kept finding clips. Most of the clips I remember were not ones I could find now, but again, 2007 is like kind of one of those weird internet eras where like not everything was preserved and certain things like that. I just think this was an amazing feat in like Andy Kaufman isms that they did here. I thought it was like pretty funny because like Shrek had, even I liked the first Shrek. By the time Shrek 3 came out, I really didn't care for it as much. And I think most people who were older teenagers when Shrek came out felt the same way. And it was funny, like, they're just going to take a big bullshit blockbuster movie and like promote it and act like it's the greatest thing. And you can tell, like, on Attack of the Show, the guy's just like looking at him like, is this for real? Like, no one was sure they were doing. It was very Andy Kaufman-esque. I think it's one of the greatest things they've ever done, because it's just like, I still think about it sometimes. I'm like, what were they even doing? Like, it was just like, they kept saying because they were involved with Shrek, it was going to make all this money, and it was going to be like pictures of them with Shrek. Like, them promoting it this way was going to help Shrek make $400 million. Like, at one point they thank Toyota and Google, and they paint their faces green, and this is a bit of randomness. I don't think, like, I would say watch the actual clips and watch Shrek 3. You know, me and my family will go and watch Shrek 3, and we just have a good time. We go to the theater and have a good time. But it's just like that Tim Heidecker is so passionate about it. I think he sells it better than Eric, if you ask me. I'm sorry. But I think he just, wow. It just, that was the summer, 2007 in May. You had three huge, like almost $300 million movies right in a row, like Spider-Man 3. I think they actually say, forget Spider-Man 3 in it. In one of them, it's like Spider-Man 3, Pirates 3, and this. And it just felt like Hollywood summer blockbusters were so out of control and so... Oh yeah, and they mentioned Disney a bunch of times, mentioned all these different things. Like, none of it is accurate, and they don't care. They act like they're like a salesman on paid programming or something for Shrek 3, which makes it like so much more bizarre. But it was like this big blockbuster bullshit time. It felt like blockbusters were out of control. Like, who would want these? They'd passed their part of quality, which, like, think other than Pirates 3, nobody likes any of the others. Pirates 3, I didn't like Pirates 2 at all, but Pirates 3 works a little better, but neither of them are like, I don't know. I wouldn't say any of them are really great movies. I know that might be controversial, but it felt like no one, everyone was like, what are you doing? And like not so confused by it. And I think I love the kind of weird Andy Kaufman-ness because they don't bring it up a lot and just they're like, for a little bit we promoted Shrek 3. Why not? And I also love that it's like Shrek 3 is a total awful movie. Like is not good whatsoever. And it's just like them acting like this is like this great amazing film and it's Shrek 3. It's just pretty hilarious there. I can't really get enough of watching these. I've watched them a couple of times just because it's such a bizarre, strange kind of Dadaist way. You know, it is kind of Dadaism and postmodernism because it's basically like calling to mind the kind of cookie cutter blockbuster productness of the whole thing, while also just like opening you up to interpretation, while pranking like all these companies at the same time, while just simply doing an ad is frankly I think one of the greatest pieces of postmodern punk rock kind of anti-promotion I've ever seen. One of my favorite Tim and Eric moments, and I think one of my I will say this, one of my favorite moments for Shrek as well, because like what the hell was that? And then it just went away and they never did it again. And I don't want them ever to do it again because it was at a time where it was like, what are they doing? And like friends would talk about it and people would be posting on boards because you never know where they're going to show up. And it was just like this thing. And then it was gone. And why Shrek 3? Why singular wireless? Why act like Shrek 3 was this genius film? And then we all moved on and we never found out why. And I think that's sort of beautiful in the kind of the mystery of it. And you're like, do you even get it? Or should you get it? Or why should you get it? It's just kind of this bizarre little thing that they kind of did and you don't know what it promoted. Well, I guess it promoted Shrek 3. So I guess that was the point. And I guess it worked because Shrek 3 made a lot of money. So in a way, Tim and Eric were right and we should have listened. The guy with the puppet was later in Shrek Retold. Is that true? Oh my god, that's amazing. The guy with the puppet, David Libby, I guess, was in. Thank you for that super chat, Nathaniel Focus. Cheers to you.